Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. And we are finishing what is both one of our shortest seasons on camera and possibly the penultimate series at a save. We kind of hope so, because if it's a long season next year, it means we've gone a long way in one of the European competitions. Today though, we'll be playing our final Welsh Premier League game, and it does actually take on a bit of importance, not for us, but for Newtown, our opponents, and for Colwyn Bay. Colwyn Bay, one of the sides that are building their European coefficient, but looking ahead to the playoff, they're in pretty bad shape at the moment. And if they don't get into Europe next year, the last season could be a disaster and massively underwhelming. We then play old rivals TNS in the Welsh Cup Final, and I just want to moan again. TNS have finished third this season. They cannot get to second in the final game. They have lost out to Barrytown United, despite more prize money, despite more years, despite being professional throughout. They have managed to throw it away again. TNS have been a bitter disappointment in this save. And if we'd actually had a good version of TNS, I think we and Wales could have made it this year. But they've been a constant letdown. From bottling it to Barry at the very start to what's happening now, with masses of money, with masses of investment, they're still finishing behind. So disappointment there. If you're looking forward to seeing if we can complete our job, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily content from this series every weekday. Our final weekend of action from our Spurs mini-series this weekend at midday. And then next week, the FM22 build-up starts. I can't wait for it. I'm getting very excited. I hope you are too. We've got a lot to look forward to, and hopefully all of the FM22 plans will fill a very dull international break for you. But let's go and have a look at our schedule just to see what's been happening off camera. We of course had our brilliant wonder kid, or what's going to be a wonder kid for our youth intake last time. Let's see how he's been getting on as well. You are with me for the Atletico Madrid disappointment and the big win against Ayr in the SPFL final. We followed it up with a 6-1 win against Barry, and look who scored. 1 for Hector Leon, 2 for Lloyd Gordon, 2 for Kean Bulkley, and this from Nathan Roberts. I've got to go in and show you it, because it just sort of typified what this man is going to become. For those of you who want to carry on this series after, you could have a world beater on your hands, because let's go and have a look at this goal. It is superb. Very simple, but the footwork, everything suggests a brilliant number 10. So here it is. We're already comfortable in the game. Kean Bulkley gives it to him, takes it past one, little step over, little jink of footwork between two, and a thunderous left-footed strike into the top corner. It's class. What a first goal. What a first performance. He came off the bench, he looked a superstar, and he's one of the star players on the pitch in the end. So a brilliant win there. We then beat Bala in the Welsh Cup semi-final. 3 goals for Bojan Kvara. Against TNS, the same scoreline in the Welsh Premier League. The same goal scorer as well, getting a hat-trick. And away from home against Colwyn Bay. We played against, weirdly, 9 men, because both of their superstars got sent off. Bojan Kvara, Kean Bulkley and Corey Williams' own goal made it a comfortable day at the office. And David Johnson, even more of a problem, is now suspended for their final game of the season. So should be back for the European playoffs, and they're going to need to be in top form. Let's go and get into our game against Newtown though. There's not a huge amount else to talk about off camera. Colwyn Bay head into TNS in what is essentially a dead rubber for the host, because they bottled second place. And Barrytown United play Cardiff Met Uni, who really need to have a big season next year. So let's get through the tactical meeting. Let's go and look at the 11 for today. Really, we should be able to play our first team in both games here. What that's going to be classed at is probably debatable, but this is the 11 I've gone for. And you can see from the bench, I've dropped the likes of Waters and Strom, and I'm going for your Nathan Roberts, your Tom Jones, who's broken the appearance record. And we want to make sure we give back to those people too. We will have a look at the records page between the 2 games, because it's something that's going to be quite important come the end of this save. But obviously we will have our final bookmark to review that as well. But today, between the sticks, it's Simancas, Simmons and Fletcher the fullbacks, with Jennings and Briones at centre-half. Mubarak Whelan, now the bona fide holding midfielder. Reyes and Reddy just ahead of him. And then Kean Bulkley behind namesake Kean and Bojan Kvara up front. Kvara has finished the season in style. Kean Bulkley come back to fitness after tendonitis, but really struggling. So he's not had a 90 minutes yet. Nathan Roberts, I'm sure, will come on for him at some point. But for now, let's see if we can beat Newtown. Should be a pretty comfortable victory, this one. So no changes from the last match. Why would we need to, quite frankly? It's a decent Newtown side, and maybe I just predicted with them a year too early. It's what I did on the podcast famously with loads of teams in the EFL. I said they're going to get promoted this year. They have a poor year, then the season after they do brilliantly. So maybe I've just done that with Newtown. And who knows, looking at their history, maybe they're a side that would invest if they got into Europe. But with Colwyn Bay's coefficient now, it'd be very hard for anyone else to get through the qualifiers. With 3 minutes on the clock though, we've got a throw on the right hand side, and Dion Simmons will take it into the box. Kyo Bulkley knocks it back down to the taker, to the back post to Kellen Fletcher, beats his man. It's a wonderful save by Clark to his right. Really should have been 1-0, but excellent goalkeeping. And now we've got a corner. Loads of men swarm in the box. Kyo Bulkley takes it. It's a poor one. Franklin heads away. That near post, just that free roll to head away for poor near post corners. And he does exactly that. It's 0-0. There's 15 minutes on the clock. We've got another throw down the left with Fletcher. Headed away pretty easily, but Mubarak Whelan, getting better on the ball in midfield, looking confident there, gives the ball back to Jennings, and now Briones can play into midfield. Whelan's there again, got loads of players running off him, but goes back to Briones, maybe not quite as happy and comfortable playing forward just yet. Reyes back to Whelan for a third time though, and there you go, back to the centre half, taking the insurance policy rather than the risk. Here's Briones, wide to Simmons on the right hand side, back to Ruben Reyes. Not had the best season either, but he's got to the byline here. Goes back to Simmons, into Kian Bulkley. The shot's blocked off the line. It's still in the box with Reyes though. Out to Kyo Bulkley and headed clear. And now Parkin can bring it away. A momentary respite for Newtown. But this is utter dominance. It's attack v defence. And it's what you'd expect at this stage. But if we don't get a big transfer window in Wales this year, it is going to be a sad finish. There's Kyo Bulkley in. It's a lovely finish. I've talked about him not getting back to form and fitness. He's doing it now. Kellen Fletcher produces the assist. And although we've got to go through one more summer of everyone being unhappy, everyone throwing their toys out the pram, they don't get a big move. I think overall, we know we've got the best possible squad to compete. We could do, as a few have mentioned in the comments, with a world-class holding midfielder and maybe with a world-class keeper as well. But generally speaking, this is probably the strongest side you're ever going to see in Wales. So we can't complain on that front. We can be a little unhappy that we've squandered chances here. It's only 1-0. We've not had as many shots as we do in some games. We're dominating the ball. We're keeping ourselves fit. And with a week to the Welsh Cup Final, we can't have any complaints. We'll give it to the hour mark and we'll bring on some of the youngsters. As Kian Bulkley plays from the kickoff to his namesake Kyo. Gives it back to Briones. Into Reyes to Kyo Bulkley again. Carries the ball really well. Locks it up to Kavara. Scored goals galore in recent weeks. Gives it to Kian Bulkley. It's a poor shot and it's eventually cleared away. Mubarak Whelan brings it down though. Goes forward this time to Kellen Fletcher. Back to Whelan again. Got a man over on the right and does switch it to Simmons. Inside to Ruben Reyes. You can see the understanding. It's lovely football. Reyes going down the line again. Comfortable carrying it. To Simmons. To Whelan. Go forward. Go forward. Go sideways to Reddy. Goes back to Whelan again. To Reyes. To Whelan. To Reddy. To Whelan. To Reddy. Play forward somebody please. Gives it to Fletcher. We're just playing sideways 30 yards out, but Simmons reduces it through to Kavara. Lovely through ball. And it's just slid into the near post. Nicks it past the keeper. 2-0 Bangor City. The perfect start for the half. The patient build-up. The brilliant through ball. And the wonderful finish from the class striker. I guess the one slight regret in this series, it looks like we're not going to manage Wales. And that's something I was hoping to do later in the series. The fact we were turned down for the TNS manager infuriates me still. And the fact that we've produced half of this team now, it could have been an exciting finish. But it's not to be, as Kyo Bulkley steps up with a free kick. It's a beautiful effort. And again, the Newtown keeper has had the game of his life. Tips that one onto the crossbar. He's been the man of the match for them so far. And he's pretty good to be fair. He's a great shot stopper, good in the air. Just not the best handling, but that doesn't matter when you've got to stop shots galore against us. Kyo Bulkley with a free kick on the right. 20 minutes left, ready headed just over. So let's go and make the changes now. Bulkley is coming back to fitness, so I want to give him the 90. We'll take Reddy off this time, I think. He's going to be replaced by Nathan Roberts. Tom Jones, I'm going to bring on for Jennings. We'll drop Whelan in. We'll then also drop in... Now, do you know what? I think we're going to take off Kyo Bulkley as well. Just give him 15 minutes rest. On will come... I want to bring Davis on, but we haven't got a holding midfielder then. Let's just bring on... Jason Odell. He'll do the job for us. He's joining us in the summer anyway. Tom Jones, not comfortable in the middle of the diamond. I will try and get him to a TNS or Barry next year, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. 2-0 with 15 to go, and another glimpse of Nathan Roberts. Well, not really a glimpse for you guys, because the game completely died a death after the subs. A comfortable 2-0 win, though. Next week to the Cup Final. Let's tell the boys we're pleased, and see if we can win the quadruple. Okay, fitness test time ahead of the Welsh Cup Final against TNS. No changes to the final positions in the league as it happened. And once this Cup Final's done, obviously the playoffs will get underway and we'll find out if Cole and Bate are going to join us next year. So that'll be an important part of the transfer special on Monday. But there's much to do before that. Let's see what our team is. It can't be the same again, I'm afraid. I talked about Kvara staying fit, hitting form, injury before the Cup Final. So in comes Lloyd Goulding alongside Cian Bulkley. Onto the bench will come Kane Waters. Unfortunately, Roberts probably can't be on the bench and nor can Jones because the five above them is the strongest bench. So Tom Jones, that's the occasion he is going to miss out on now. He's not good enough at 27 to be in that squad regularly. So the 11 we've gone for is the same, bar Goulding in for the injured Kvara. Now let's see if we can win the Welsh Cup Final against TNS, who have criminally disappointed us by finishing third this year. And here we go. Dukas Fernardos, of course, playing his final game for the host today before he goes off to England. And maybe that's the start of the decline. Of course, they take one of our youngsters in action too. He's going to be trying to get the goal against us and trying to win the final against us. And that's the interesting thing. Where we're loaning players out now, we're trying to give them the ability, take out that clause where they can't play against their parent club. So we want these teams as strong as possible all the time. And TNS in this cup final is no different. So let's see if they can put on a show. They've certainly got a good enough team. But have they got the squad over a season? Probably never are going to have. Well, it's been a rubbish start to the game. They were back for Kaya Bulkley to put in a free kick. It's headed away, and Nash can counter us here. We're under pressure after half an hour. We've not played well at all. We've not really had many chances. They get into the box. It's a good save, Simankas. And Nash is going to have to take over that mantle in the middle when Vernardos leaves. He is the star of the show now, and he needs to deliver. This is a free kick for TNS, 30 yards out. Nash again the man over it. Wonderful strike. Great save, Simankas. TNS have had the two best chances in this match. And this is what makes it even more infuriating. How have they finished third in the year where they've still got Vernardos, where they've not got through the group stages in Europe and had that pressure of 3-4 fixtures a week? They've had it easy. They've got the second best squad in the league and they've bottled it again. I'm so furious with them. As Kellen Fletcher gets it on the left, the attack peters out. But this is an even game, though we've got a corner with Bulkley. It's normally where we dominate. The set pieces, we always win them. But Marcus Reddy's header just glances towards the far post, hits the woodwork and bounces away. Half time is goalless here. Nice to see a side competing in a domestic cup final. But to be honest, if we step up the gears a bit, we should win this pretty easily. As early in the second half, it's Osman taking the ball from the back to Simoncini, playing a bit deeper than we expected. I thought he'd be on the right of that midfield when he joined in January. Kane gets the ball forward to Aid Tate, knocks it down for Nash. He loses out to Reddy though, and he's on a yellow card. Got to be careful here. Reddy to the byline, still running with it. Oh, it was so predictable. Ben Nash brings him down. I'm actually furious the opponent's been sent off because this was a proper cup final. We haven't had that for so long in one of the Welsh competitions. As Reddy gets the ball out to Fletcher, we should run riot now. Back to the edge, Reddy volleys just over. And TNS just going to have to defend for their lives here. Well, I say this, 25 minutes to go, only one shot on target in the second half and a pretty poor performance. So I'm going to take off Cian Bulkley and go back to the pace of Kane Waters. I'm going to bring on Gethin Davis for Marcus Reddy maybe? No, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take off Briones first. He's going to be replaced by Gomez Garcia. Reddy will go centre half. Garcia into the diamond. Kyo Bulkley will be replaced by Gethin Davis. We're going for the number 10, who's been in the best form this half of the year. We need him to deliver tonight because this has been a really poor game. And even with 10 men, TNS have looked pretty comfortable out there. They've still got the pace of Tate on the break, and they've got a chance to do just that now as it's a long ball forward. Tate will chase, but Jennings will get there first. Easily brings it away to Kellen Fletcher on the left-hand side. He's on a booking too, has to be careful. Up towards the centre forward Waters, but it's cleared away. It is now, though, basically being played in the TNS half. Simmons gets it at right back, runs down the line. There's four in the box if he can find them. In towards Gethin Davis. He misses it, but Kane Waters glances it in. An injury hit season, probably just starting to age a little bit now. But his 20th of the year, a crucial goal that may well win us the Welsh Cup Final. This performance, though, shows why I'm so annoyed that TNS have finished third. And I hope you can understand that. They've got to deliver next year. As Whelan gets it on the right to Simmons. Chance to cross to the back post. They might run out of steam here because they've been chasing it for 20 minutes. As Kellen Fletcher gets it from Garcia to Whelan. to Reyes, overlap from Simmons on the right, who again has been fantastic. Can't wait for him to join us permanently. Back to Gomez Garcia, whose shot is blocked behind. Tate has been taken off for a right back. Not quite sure of the reason for that, unless they're pushing Simoncini forward and then the winger up front. But that's really odd. And I'm not quite sure it's the best move at this point. Been a good performance. It could have been a red card for TNS down there. They really slid in and that cross goes through everyone. But Gethin Davis was offside. The flag goes up. And I can't see TNS threatening now. Since the red card, they've defended well. They've had no attacking threat at all. And into stoppage time we go. Venados, his career at TNS will end in narrow disappointment in the cup final. To Kellen Fletcher on the left-hand side for Bangor City. Chance to get to the byline. Cuts it back across. Ruben Reyes there. Hits the bar. Nearly an own goal on the rebound. But Pegram holds it. And TNS survive. 1-0. Probably a fair reflection of the game. We weren't vintage. But against 10, we deserved to win it. 1-0. A close game. A disappointing season for TNS. It was almost the perfect ending though. We will lift the Welsh Cup Final. Simancas will get his moment. And Bangor City celebrate a quadruple ahead of the final and probably the biggest season of this Bangor City Build a Nation career. Let's go and have a look at the end of season review, a slight plan ahead for the summer, and then there's the weekend of calm before the storm, our final season in Welsh football. And here we go, the 19th season finishes. Let's see how it's panned out for us. Just a few signings this summer. Marcus Reddy we're still not able to keep yet for next year. Bates and Rid just sort of came in as backup emergency players for the international breaks. Simmons and Hector were brilliant. Simmons, of course, joining us permanently next year. The transfers out, a little bit bigger. Kresimir Loza did well for Dinamo, eventually found his way in front of goal. A few youngsters going off as well. Matty Whitaker to Wolves, barely played a game. I hope he felt that was worth it for the strop he put up this summer. And then Ahmet Bektas, it's been a long time coming, and it's good money as well, to be fair. Another very comfortable season in the league, but of course that 1-0 defeat to Cardiff Met Uni, the blemish on the record. Bojan Kvara found his goal-scoring form, but unfortunately, again, injuries plagued him towards the end. And actually our average home attendance reaching 3,000 now. I've made the decision this summer, as it's the last one probably. I'm going to apply for a stadium and see what happens. We'll report back on Monday with the feedback from that. The Champions League, of course, we did reach the last 16. Almost hindered us, because next year, if we don't drop into the Europa League, we're not going to win a European competition. That's the disappointment. So maybe we're going to have to start throwing Champions League games. I know it's against the spirit of the save, but for the final year, do we have to prioritise trying to win a trophy? The SPFL Trust, a brilliant one, a comfortable victory in the end. In the Welsh Cup, we got the test in the final, but the rest of it was very easy. And in the League Cup, it was thrashings galore. 4, 5, 7 and 8 were the 4 results we got in that one. It's fair to say we won that one easily. The moments to remember are a 6-0 win against Newtown. We won at the Nou Camp. We won at the Nou Camp, and the match to remember is a 6-0 drubbing of Newtown. Absolutely incredible. The biggest win was 8-0 in the League Cup. The goal of the season was from Reyes in the 3-1 win against Aberdeen in the Champions League. The finances, we can't really judge it here because we get all the unallocated prize money towards the end of the season. But it's very high, it's very good. We're still stuck at 3-star reputation though. And that is my biggest bugbear at this point. We cannot progress. The league's up to 3.5. TNS are up to 2.5. But we just can't take that next step. And I don't know what I've got to do to achieve that. Not quite sure how Gordon is the top shirt sale, which he's never been before. But we'll enjoy that while it's there. It is basically the 11 we expect. Gethin Davis in ahead of Ruben Reyes, just proving the poor year I said he'd had. Harvey Lloyd in ahead of Mubarak Whelan, which is strange. And Lloyd Gordon in up front, which is maybe fair because he does score goals whenever he plays. Look at the record breakers though. Most league appearances by a player. Tom Jones up to 343. He is now the record appearance maker for Bangor City. The record league goal scorer was Joe Duffy. Kane Waters beating him by 1 now. Brilliant moment for him at 30 years of age. And it means now if those guys do need to move on, because they're not really good enough for the squad, then perhaps it won't be as sad of an ending. But Kane Waters, it was the perfect finish. He scored the winner in the cup final. Fastest goal for Lloyd Gordon as well. He got his own bit of history to end off. But a brilliant season. Another great one. We've just got to take that final step. We've got one more chance to win a European trophy or take that next step to the quarters of the Champions League. And next season is the final chance we'll have, and the final season Welsh football will have too. If we have a look at the competitions to finish off, Colwyn Bay have to win that playoff. They have to get themselves into Europe for the final year. We'll be watching that like a hawk. But we will be back on Monday after a weekend with Tottenham in our Saving Spurs series to commence our final season with a transfer special and probably a first Champions League game at Bangor City FC. I hope you'll come and join me for it. If you did enjoy that finish, a closer cup final than normal, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments whether you think we can do it, or will one of the other Welsh sides spring a surprise, or is it unfortunately going to finish in the underwhelming circumstances we expect? If you want to find out, stay up to date, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. There's loads of announcements and updates regarding FM22 round the corner, so please do come and stick along for those too. There's a link to the Twitch channel and the podcast up in the eye above, regular content in both of those platforms. And a massive thank you for coming along, for joining me for another season. One more to go, one more opportunity. Can we do it? We'll find out next week. I'll see you there.